Hi everyone, welcome to the next in our series of CX conversations. I'm Tim McMillan, Director of E-commerce here at Candy Space, and I'm really happy to be joined today by Barry Osbourne from Lineview. Barry, do you want to say hello and introduce yourselves and your role to the guys that might be watching?
Yeah, sure. So Barry Osbourne, so I'm the Chief Product Officer at Lineview. I joined the business 2 years ago as we sort of go on our next part of the journey in terms of our sort of next generation product. My background is sort of 25 years in product and CX design.
Great, so I've known you for a long time and you've held a number of interesting roles in sales and marketing teams. You even had your own CX practice for a number of years, but you joined Lineview to help them develop a customer first mindset and to bring their vision for their product future to life. So my first question to you is, how do you start embedding that product mindset into an organization for the first time?
I think critically it sort of starts with the problem that we're actually trying to solve. I think organizations can build or develop anything, but it's making sure that they make the right choices. And understanding, what's the value that's being created and the problem they're trying to solve for customers, and the value out there and the opportunity for the business in the market, and making sure that those things are kind of aligned. But really having a steadfast process that is repeatable, that aligns all of the stakeholders in the business and means that you can actually kind of scale and accelerate, in a sustainable way. And for me, making sure the right structures are in place, is a vital part of that journey.
And I imagine that when you become digitally focused or have a digital product business, there is that tension that exists between what the customer wants, what you as a business want to get out of the product, and technically what's possible with the landscape and the resources you have available. How do you manage or balance that tension that exists between those elements?
Yeah, it's always there, isn't it? And there are always lots of voices in the room that kind of shout louder than others, I think.
Yeah.
The way that I always come back to is to align them is actually kind of using a sort of a service blueprint approach that actually makes sure that the customer needs, the ambitions and strategy of the business, but also the sort of the technical capability of the business is well understood and aligned, but also then helps in the understanding about the decisions that the business makes going forward, and those choices have to be informed. And what we try and do is make sure that we move away from opinion and ensure that those decisions are based on solid facts and solid understanding and supported by evidence and data wherever possible, so that you remove the opinion bias and actually kind of make decisions in the right way for the good of the business, but also obviously for the values being created for the customer.
And you guys are working on the next iteration of your Lineview product at the moment. So my next question is really about the process you go through when you're replacing a digital product with a new version or a new iteration, and that legacy product is already widely in use by customers in market. So in that situation, is there any such thing as an MVP when you're thinking about the new version of that product?
Yes. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's actually, my experience has been sort of quite different across sort of B2C and B2B environments. I think in a B2C environment, there's a bit more of an appetite to actually sort of push product out there early and get feedback and sort of respond to that feedback quickly. I think in the B2B environment, then it's a lot more risk averse. You've got to get it right, and particularly if you've got an existing customer base, that obviously becomes a sort of a big part of the equation. So I think it is different in those different markets. I think whether it's the minimum viable or the most valuable product, I think is always open to interpretation. But I mean, I think for me, everything has to be quality driven. And it has to be outcome driven. And if it's not fit for purpose for the customer, then it shouldn't be going out the door. And that really is the benchmark for the way that we work and we think about it. And I think when you've got an existing legacy product and a customer base, then there are different strategies you can take depending on the nature of your product, but the commercial arrangements you also have in place with customers. So it's possible to migrate from an existing legacy platform by doing things in parallel, and you might spin up an MVP that's suitable for a particular target segment, or let's say new customers. Mm-hmm. But actually existing customers, may migrate over a sort of a planned migration over a period of time, and therefore it's kind of managed and presented that way.
Great. And let's think about the onboarding process for customers and the acquisition process. So traditionally within B2B, sales has always been very heavily involved in winning new customers and new accounts. But digital is starting to support that process, and more B2B organizations are turning towards digital to improve that onboarding process. So my question really is about how do you help traditional sales teams actually embrace digital and not become alienated by kind of more digital tools coming in and supporting the acquisition phase of the
Yeah.
life cycle.
Um, yeah, it's another interesting one. I mean, again, because I had quite a sort of wide experience with different organizations, and you actually see just culturally how different organizations can be, where you've got um, some organizations who are very good at embracing digital technologies and the opportunities presented by those, and others who are actually kind of quite adverse to that. So I think it really does vary, but I think when you sort of look at the sales enablement piece and the onboarding, so much can be enabled through digital solutions of some shape or form, and how we kind of put knowledge and resources into the hands of the right people at the right time, how we streamline processes and workflows and make things more efficient. And actually thinking about digital tools, I think, is more than just let's spin up an e-commerce site and start selling through the web. It's about actually what other tools can we put, in the hands of salespeople and indeed customers to help them make informed choices and decisions, and actually speed up and accelerate that process, and make it a better experience. And if we can do that, then salespeople can spend their time on higher value added activity, which is, for the majority of them, where they get paid their commissions, and therefore where they like to spend their time. And a lot of the more mundane sort of
Mhm.
type of topics and activities can be picked up through digital routes quite often. And I think it's just helping people see the opportunity and realize the ambition and the value that can get created and provided by that.
And speaking of value, as a CPO at Lineview, how do you demonstrate the value of your vision for the product roadmap to the wider leadership team?
The most important thing, I think, is actually having a clear roadmap. Um, and things that find their way onto the roadmap should only be there because they are the things that collectively the business has prioritized. So I might be accountable for the roadmap, but what appears on that roadmap is everyone's, input. It's not just mine. And so they only find their way onto the roadmap if actually there is a real clear sense of these are the most important things, and they're there because they are going to create the most value both for the business and for the customers, and they're the things that we've deemed to be the priority. So I think the first thing is having a clear roadmap and making sure that everyone's really clear about why those things are on the roadmap. And then I think there's the evidencing of how they meet customer needs and then the value that's created for customers, but also strategically how they meet the needs and objectives of the business. And then there's how do we actually measure our progress, and also not just the timeline of delivery, but actually, we talk about sort of return on innovation investment. So for every pound that the business actually invests in R&D and product, what are they getting back, commercially? What's been in the return? So that's a sort of a key measure. But also things like, CSAT, increasingly to give us immediate feedback from customers actually on the value that's being created. And again, that's something that we share internally, that we're actually doing the right things and this is what our customers are telling us. So I think balancing again that sort of commercial aspect with the customer aspect, and making sure that everybody is has the same view of the roadmap and the things that are on it and why they're there.
Great. And I guess, well, for me anyway, a day doesn't really go by for me when I'm not bumping into the topic of AI in some form or another with our clients or with the team here at Candy Space. I wondered if AI is going to feature in your roadmap in the future, or what role it might play within Lineview as an organisation as a whole.
Um, yes is the answer. I have to be a little bit careful because AI is going to be a big part of our future, of course. And I can't really say too much about that at the moment, but it's very much a part and parcel of our roadmap going forward. I mean, I think if you look at AI generally, and most organisations are looking at that in some shape or form, and there are lots of different use cases. I think, and actually, the trade-off a lot of the time is actually the costs of actually achieving the sort of the performance and expectations that actually a customer has these days of AI and the responsiveness and the things that you can do with it. Because it's touched most people nowadays in some shape or form, but the application of it, I think, is the most important thing, and what we can do with it, and it will revolutionize the way that we understand information, surface information, the way that we transform insights into direction and action. And we see increasingly in all sorts of different spheres actually becoming more predictive about things. You see things in the health industry now about AI actually getting better at predicting situations medically than doctors in certain instances. And it's not a replacement for doctors, but it's a tool that they can use alongside their expertise. And I think it's this balancing of where the opportunity is, where the real value gets created, and really not being afraid of it, but actually embracing it and looking at quite what we can do with it to actually kind of make the world an even better place.
Real. I'm looking forward to seeing what those secret sauce things are going to be in your roadmap in a few months when the new product launches.
Indeed, indeed.
Okay. So final question from me today is a bit more of a playful one. So thinking just about your current role at Lineview, you've been there for a few years now. What advice would you give yourself if you could have a conversation with yourself before you go back and talk to yourself on day one before you started there?
Well, just from the Lineview
Yeah,
experience,
yeah.
I think re-emphasizing the fact that it's okay to say no more often. I think whenever you're in a product leadership role, there are always lots of pressures and things that the business wants to do. But we also have to be mindful that we can't do everything. And so we have to be able to choose what we say no to. And there's always that sort of healthy tension in a business that is a trade-off between what we say yes to and what we say no to. And I kind of jokingly kind of say that I say no more times than I say yes. But that is because of the amount of opportunity that we have and all of the things that ideally we'd like to be able to do. But clearly we can't do them all. So I think that's the one of the key things. And I think there's also a sort of a just a reminder that I think with any organisation, there's one of my favourite sayings is if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. And it's actually working out which are the things that actually should change. What's actually going to shift the dial and make things better. And for us at Lineview, it's all about focusing on the right things and looking at really how we sort of revolutionise the next phase of our journey and how that kind of shapes the manufacturing industry.
Well, Barry, I'm glad you didn't say no to this chat today. I found it really insightful. Thanks for sharing and thanks for coming in.
Thank you.